Hi artists, it's Nikki from Open Your Art. Welcome to today's video. We had a request to draw a sloth, and they are the cutest, sweetest, droopiest, laziest animals, so I thought that would be really fun to draw. So I hope you enjoy today's video learning how to draw a sloth. Feel free to add your own creative touches. Remember, you are the artist. You do not have to follow along exactly as I do it. Make it your own. And if you have a request of something that you'd like to see, then just send us a message and we will see what we can do for you. I hope you're all staying very well and safe, and stay creative. Thanks. So today we're going to draw a sloth, and we're going to draw a sloth lazing down in a tree with his legs hanging down. So you really, when you start a drawing, you really want to think about where on your page all the elements of your drawing are going to be. So we're going to start by just sketching out a little branch to give us that line where the sloth is laying. Now, we really want to draw this very, very lightly. Don't put any pressure on your pencil, because we're not going to keep all of this line. We're going to have to rub some of it out because these little legs are going to be hanging down over the branch. So I'm just going to start by sketching really lightly from one side of the page to the other, just a fairly curved line. I don't want it too straight. And this is just going to be my branch. Might have to do it a little bit darker so you can see it. Now I'm going to do the underside of my branch, but the trunk is over this side. So the branch is thicker on this side than it is here. So the line is going to start out a little bit further away where that branch is, but we want it to get closer as the branch tapers toward the end. All right, now think about how big your sloth's going to be and where his little head is. So we're going to start just with a simple circle. So the sloth's face is quite circular, and just sketch out your circle little bit by little bit so you can keep reshaping it to get that lovely circular shape. Now we'll come back and do the details in a little bit. What we're going to do first off is just get the shape sketched out. So for his little neck, we're going to come just off the top of his head and curve down a little bit for his neck, and then we're going to curve up for his back and around to his bottom. Now think about how fat you want your sloth. You might want your sloth to come up a little bit more. I might actually bring him up just a little bit more. So when you're drawing really lightly like this, you don't have to stress about your lines and continually rub them out. You can just choose the lines that you like at the end, and then you can come back and rub the lines out that you don't want. So his little back leg is going to come down here. And we're going to make this really stylized. This is not going to be a realistic drawing by any means. This is more of an illustration. So his lines, just nice curved lines for his leg, for his back leg. So that's his little leg that's coming over on this side. And we want to round this off to show that that's his thigh. And we're going to rub this little bit of the branch out. Now for his back leg on the other side, we're going to come down from the branch because we can't see this part of his leg. It's hidden by the branch. It's coming down behind the branch. And we'll make it just that little bit shorter to show that it's a bit further away than this one. For his front legs, so bring his little neck out from his head and curve it around a little bit. Bring that curve down to his front leg that's hanging down over the branch here. Another curved line for the other side of his leg, and just curve off the ends of his legs. We want to keep it really soft. We don't want it too sharp. And just keep a little bit of a curve. We want that branch to be quite straight because his body's just flattened out by that branch. But where his body is meeting the branch, we want to curve that off and keep it nice and soft. And then we need to do his back front leg coming down. So it's coming down from his shoulders here and we're going to again make it just that little bit shorter to show that it's a little bit further away. So we've got the basic structure of our sloth now. That didn't take us very long. Now we can go in and put in the details. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by doing his eyes. Now Sloth's eyes are really far apart and they're one at each side of his face. We're just going to start with simple circles. Again, just draw it nice and lightly, bit by bit, shaping that circle shape. And for the inside of his eye, we're going to do another circle sitting inside it. And we're going to colour most of that in, we're just going to leave a little bit of a white highlight. Now sloths have these really cute markings that come around their eyes, kind of make them look a bit droopy. So we're going to bring this around, so it's going to curve around the eye and then it's actually going to come down to the side of his face. And then for the underside, we're going to curve it around his eye and again curve it down to the side of his face. So for the other side, very similar. It doesn't have to be exactly the same. You can play around with your lines if you want to. So we're going to take that down to the side of his face, curve those markings around his eye, and then bring it down to the side of his face. Now they've got multi-tones of brown in their face and they actually look like they're wearing a little mask. So coming from this side of the markings around his eye to this side of the markings around his eye, we're just going to draw a simple curve following around the circle of his face. So building up that mask. And then we're going to do the same thing on the bottom. So about the same distance apart on your circle, we're going to draw the bottom of his face. So he's really starting to take a bit of a sloth-like appearance here. Now I love giving my animals eyebrows. So for this little guy, we're actually going to give him fairly big eyebrows, but keep it all very soft, very rounded, no sharp corners here. He's a droopy, lazy, happy sloth. So his eyebrows are a little bit thicker toward the inside of his face than they are on the outside of his face. So you can make them a bit narrower here. Now at the moment he's looking a little bit cross, isn't he? So we better give him a nice happy face. So for his eyes, come down to where the bottom of the markings are here underneath his eyes, and we're going to draw his nose. So to draw his nose, we're going to start with a flat, straight line, and we're going to curve it around. It's going to end up looking a little bit like a strawberry. So we're going to curve this around and bring it down to a very soft point. We'll give him some little nostrils. And we're just going to lightly put in, we're not going to actually outline this, but we're just going to make that a little bit different shade of brown to his face there. Because their nose does, the colourings on their nose extend up a little bit further than their nose. So to give him a nice big happy smile, we're going to start in the middle of the bottom of his nose and we're going to stretch it right out across his face. It's a long, wide, lazy, sleepy smile. And then we're going to join his two ends of his smile with this nice shallow curved line coming underneath it. And we can actually make it look like he's really smiling there. Now for his claws, different sloths have different number claws. I think there's some sloths that only have 2. I'm going to do 3 because I think they're really cute. So I'm just going to bring a little curved line coming out from the bottom and then round off the end of their claws. They're not particularly pointed, they're a little bit rounded. So we're going to do 1, We're going to do a longer one in the middle, so round that end off, they're a little bit curved. And then another one on the outside, so a little bit curved. And you can do them quite close together because they are actually quite close together. So this little one on the back, do your 3 little rounded long claws. When you're doing illustrations, you can really exaggerate these features as well. So you might want to make them really long. So we take those identifiable attributes of the person or the animal that we're drawing, and we can make them really exaggerated to show that feature even more. So we've got 3 little feet done now, 3 little claws, 1 more to go. So a longer claw in the middle, and then 2 shorter ones on either side. So that's the basis of your sloth, and we're going to get ready to add some colour to him and really start to flesh him out. But we've got this lovely branch here, so let's add a few leaves to add a little bit more interest to our drawing. So I'm going to start just by adding a very thin branch coming off it. It can be however long you want it to be. And then let's just do some simple leaves on the end. So a nice curved line coming down to a point, and then another curved line on this side coming to meet it. A nice point on the end. And then leaves have these lovely veins that go down the middle and then creep out from either side. So let's do a few leaves. Think about where you'd like to put them. You can do as many or as few as you like. You can make them as big or as small as you like. I might have some more coming up here. So again, I'm going to do a nice long thin branch here with a leaf coming off the end of it. Draw in your little veins of your leaf. A vein down the middle, and then smaller veins coming off each side. And then let's do one more coming out here. You could really fill your background with leaves too if you wanted to, make it look very jungle-ish. You can do as many as you like. And there we have our very sleepy, lazy sloth. So now it's time to go over all of our outlines with markers. Usually I use a black pen to go over my outlines, but today I want it to blend in a little bit more with my colouring, so I'm using a range of browns and greens. You can use a few different greens for your leaves. Nature isn't always just one tone, one colour. And now, most important step, we need to rub out all of those pencil lines. So we want our drawings to look really nice and clean, and we don't want to see those ugly pencil lines underneath our beautiful colouring in. So find yourself a range of different browns. Our little sloth has quite a few different browns on his face. The little patches around his eyes are quite dark, and his little nose is quite dark. It's really important when you're colouring in to leave little highlights of white on your eyes when you're doing animals and humans, because it just gives them that sparkle, that bit of life. try to use a different brown for your branch and your body of the sloth, just to show where he's different. So I've used my lightest brown to colour in his face and to colour in his body, and that really makes him stand out from that branch. He doesn't blend in too much. So again, use a range of different greens for our leaves, and that can really help bring it to life. And there, ladies and gents, you have your beautiful, sleepy, droopy sloth.